Hello to all of you, Scott Picken here, CEO and founder of Migrate, and I am standing with Paul Dunn, who, by the way, got a standing ovation here in Bali. And Paul, you epitomize one of the things that I try and teach people about wealth, okay? And that's interesting because I believe that wealth is not the amount of money you've got in your bank account. It's very different, and that's why we talk about these wealth insights. There's plenty of people that are billionaires that are completely disillusioned with their life, you know. Tell us just a little bit about purpose and people living an enabled life, an empowered life, and one that where they're giving back, they're contributing basically. Because what you're doing, you know, is really people experiencing true wealth.
I love what you said, and the reality is, and by the way, thank you for joining us too. The reality is that as we're speaking, there are people who are going home, maybe not even entrepreneurs, but people say from corporate who've got, you know, high-paying jobs, which theoretically are doing great things for them. They're getting home, and before their head hits the pillow, they're saying to themselves, "Is that all there is?" Right? And the good news is that's not all there is, right? And so what we're seeing, and I think we've seen it accelerate, and you've seen it in Wealth Migrate as well. We've seen it accelerating perhaps since 2008, you know, when there were the kind of meltdown and stuff. And we've realized that there is much more. And so we're now seeing people who are genuinely understanding the link between meaning and purpose and connection. And that link, by the way, is that, you know, we really need to understand that connection is why we're here. And it's that connection that gives us meaning and purpose, or alternatively, it's that meaning and purpose that gives us connection. So if you think about it that way, then once you have meaning and purpose, and it's not that you're necessarily connected to, you know, the world as such, it's you're connected to yourself.
Yeah.
And the moment you can connect to yourself, then attraction from you to that, or towards you just changes, because your whole flow changes. And so you're in this state of meaning and purpose and understanding precisely your direction and all of those kind of things. And the other thing that happens is when you have this meaning and purpose, you suddenly start thinking different things. Like, for example, you start thinking, oh my gosh, there is this thing called legacy, right? And then when you start thinking that, you start thinking, oh, okay, so it's all about leaving a legacy. Well, yeah, it's about leaving a legacy, but then you start thinking about that a different way, because you realize that there's leaving a legacy, but there's another L. There's living a legacy, which is kind of cool. And then
so there's just right there, living a legacy.
Living a legacy,
yeah. That's so beautiful. Basically.
And then there's leveraging the legacy.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah, you get that? So once you get it, why would you, like once you get into, for example, Wealth Migrate, why would you keep that to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you're on purpose through that, you're creating a legacy, you're living the legacy each and every day because of the, you know, the systems and the structures that you've built, and the transparency and all that kind of stuff that you've built. And so now how do you leverage that? You say to someone else, hey, come and have a look at this, because this kind of completes the circle. Let's call it a virtuous circle. Some people would call it a conscious circle in a really, really beautiful way. So all of a sudden, you're connected to yourself, you're connected to other people around you, and as a result of the great things you're doing in Wealth Migrate, because of the way in which you give back as a result of it through B1G1. So you're actually connected to the community, and you're connected to our world.
Well, let's pivot into that, because I think that's really important. You know, I've always wanted to give back, and I've done a number of projects, literally since I was even at university. But I've always found it very difficult.
It is.
You know, so trying to run a business and be a family man, and you know, and do these things. Whereas when I came across B1G1, it's so beautiful because it's easy.
It's easy. It's really easy.
And I mean, basically, you can go online, you can empower a woman in India, a kid in Africa, someone in China, you know, whatever. It's really, really easy. Tell us, I mean, you've done 4 TED Talks on this, so you clearly know a little bit about it. What is B1G1 in sort of, you know, 30 seconds? What's your elevator pitch?
Well, in 30 seconds, right, what you now can do is you can create more impacts in your business and for our world than you ever imagined. Partly because, like Wealth Migrate, it is so simple to do. Because we often thought that when you give back, you know, it's like, when I'm successful, and what is it you don't understand about the journey, right? But that's how we think. and then, oh my gosh, I've got to check out this, I've got to check out that, and at the same time you're trying to grow your business or whatever, so it's very difficult to do. So in B1G1 we have these, currently I think about 800 projects. The board of B1G1 rejects 9 out of every 10 of the projects that apply. So that is when you see a B1G1 project, which as you said, could be a kid in Malawi or wherever it happens to be, or indeed locally in South Africa, wherever, then you know it does what it says on the tin. And the other great thing is that we've scaled it in such a way, amazingly enough, that 1 cent now, 1 cent.
Oh, just to be clear, we're talking 1 US cent.
1
you
US cent can actually,
1 US cent.
exactly, can actually make a difference.
The point is every single person watching this can participate. It's
exactly.
It's not the, oh, when I'm a billionaire I can do it. It's you can participate.
It's not the someday I'll, right? It's like, oh my goodness, I can actually do that. And then for the business owners amongst us, what's even better is we can do that habitually because we can link the things in our business, the things that we do. For example, we have people who every time they send an email, a kid gets access. I mean, just imagine that, particularly when you figure out that there are over 2 million emails sent per second. So just imagine if everyone was doing that, what a difference we could make in the world. And that also speaks to this whole thing again, which Wealth Migrate is about as well. This whole sense of belonging to something greater, than ourselves, and also hanging out with, people of the same mindset.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. That's why I wanted to bring this Wealth Insight. I truly believe if we're going to empower 1 billion people, we've got to change people's mindsets of what's possible. And, for me, what you speak of a person, I mean, I've got goosebumps, talking about this with the way you talk about purpose and passion and legacy. And, I just really wanted everyone to realize that they too could participate. They don't have to wait to be Richard Branson until they can go out there and do it. I want to leave you with one closing thought. I had an idea, which when I met you the first time, I wanted to implement it. And I believe that, we can call it the 3 Ps, we can call it P cubed. But ultimately, you've got people that are investing in property and they're looking for purpose. And what about if we turn this the other way around? So what about if the purpose is to solve the wealth gap? And so we've got people that are investing in the property with a purpose, so we call it property for purpose. And every time they invest, a percentage of that is going towards, solving challenges, basically. And so for me, it's actually reversing it. At the moment, people are investing in property for a profit, and now ultimately they can start with a purpose, but they will still get the profit through the property, and they'll just be more inspired people.
Someone described what you do to me this way. They said, when you think about property, there's no soul in it. Like that. But here, there's soul, right? And there's purpose and so on. So yeah, it's a beautiful kind of combination.
Oh, excellent. Well, Paul, thank you so much for coming online. To everyone that's listening, it's people like this that are truly changing the world. Go to B1G1. Look at some of the videos. It's absolutely amazing. We're one of their partners, and I'm actually looking forward to us integrating on our platform so that every time someone invests on the platform, they've got an opportunity to invest in property with a purpose, basically. So thanks very much, Paul.
Thank you.
To those of you that enjoyed this, just subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Most importantly, if we're going to impact 1 billion people, Paul and I can't do it on our own. We've got to basically make 1 + 1 = 11. Go out there, make sure that you're getting the knowledge, make sure that your friends are getting the knowledge, because if we need to empower the 99%, we need to take collective responsibility. Till next week, cheers.
Well done.